Alright, I am Klekuya, and this video is about the how and why of how I learned Japanese, basically. How I learned it, why I learned it, and what's the reason behind it, and also how you can learn it quickly. Okay, let's kind of go through a summary. I've tried doing this a few times before, just today. Okay, first off, I was always into Japanese culture, their language, I was into their animation. I watched the animations and TV shows, movies. So let's get this over with. I've watched was Japanese animations when they weren't subtitled or dubbed into English or any other language, just all in Japanese. Because we had channels that actually showed, animations from Japan in the original content. So I grew up with all these shows like Astro Boy, and also, well, that's what's translated in English. Um, Also with a few magical shows that existed way back in the past, like from the 1960s or so. I mean, a lot of the stuff I've seen was all in reruns, but the one series that was in English that really got to me, which I knew from seeing bits and pieces, and also the toy line when it was from Japan, because my dad used to take me to was the toy district and also to Little Tokyo in Japan. Not Japan, excuse me. It's like Japan, but it's actually in L.A. Sorry, Little Tokyo in L.A., Japan. All right, we have a bit of Japan in America. All right. So I knew about these toys and the animations. I'd seen bits and pieces of these things. And plus, I grew up on Godzilla. All right, Godzilla. All that shit. All right. The one series that really got to me, that I knew it was actually three separate series. Which, when it came to America, Harmony Gold got the rights to it, and they changed it to where these the three series that have nothing to do with each other, have different storylines, and they merged them together to where it was seamlessly and it made sense. And they changed it to Robotech. It's a great series. The Macross Saga, which is actually the series was Macross. Then you had was this the series where I forgot the names of them. Uh, the Southern Cross Saga. They have the one where it was like after the Macross Wars, and it was basically the children of the crew of the SDF-1, their thing, and then there was, you know, with also the clone of Zor was placed. That's with the Masters. There was also the Invid Invasion, which came in later. And you had was, like I said, the Southern Cross Saga. I got to see that in the '90s, and a lot of that was unfinished because the original Japanese stuff, they just didn't finish it. It was, so yeah, in the '80s that was the thing, and I was interested, not just that was the one animation series that I really got into. Yeah, that was dubbed, and I always liked the animation side of things. Also like to learn how to write scripts, and also I wanted to do was be a voice actor. I still do. There's a lot of stuff I do, but I know that I would probably suck as being a voice actor because, well, even making videos, I'm just a type of person that don't like to be center of attention. I used to do was make my own little radio shows as a kid. I would just have a tape player and I just play around. No, that's kind of besides the point. I'll talk about that later. All right, with Japanese. Now, going to high school, This is in the from 89 to 94 is my high school years because I started in high school in eighth grade. Okay, so you had was a lot more stuff that was coming in, and in the 90s you had was series like Sailor Moon. That one, I knew more about the Japanese culture and about their language on my own of things. I didn't know everything, but I knew quite a bit of their culture and certain things. I understand of what they would actually say and what would not make sense, because a lot of the stuff I knew there was Japanese references, but it was retranslated into something else. So a reference to what an American audience would understand. Yeah, thank you, Deke. Thank you for screwing up Sailor Moon. I mean, I got into it. I read the comic books, when it was translated by Tokyo Pop. Um, I have like pretty much the whole entire series in the Japanese and also in the Tokyo Pop version. When it was, yeah, when it first came out and stuff, kept on changing their name. Uh, what else? So I also went to the Disney Studios in California, so I learned. And this was in high school. I learned about their jobs, and also there's one lady. She has two jobs. She gets two different paychecks because of two different jobs that she works there. She has her regular job. I don't remember exactly what she does, but the other one was more interesting because she was the only person there that knew how to read and speak Japanese perfectly. She was very fluent in it. So her job was not really to speak it, was actually to write it. Because in Disney Studios, like this is the animation department, where they have to send stuff of their animations. This was the time when they were still making was cell animation, where each uh, image of the animated sequence is on cells, plastic films. They're just clear plastic sheets, and they're actually painted on. Actually, it's painted on the back side. That's how it is. People don't realize it. It's not painted on the front. It's actually on the back. So I got to learn all this, but her job was to actually write out a documentation specifying the list of contents, what's inside the box, or any package, I should say. But with the animation slides, it was that. Plus, it also specifies what needs to be done because in Japan at the time they sent over to Japan was the stuff that was meant, and they had to do was the animations for the in between animations. So they would have like the animation sequence from here, and then the hand up here. So the in betweens, Japan had to fill those in. So they actually have the correct runtime and the correct animation sequence. And they would specify how many, the pieces it's missing. They do this so it becomes quicker to do these animated TV series at the time to get them out quickly. And I also, if you ever watched, was Bonkers. Well, there's an animator that worked on that series plus on other Disney series. At this time, they were doing like several series. It was DuckTales. You had was Chip and Dale's Rescue Rangers. I didn't get to meet the animator that actually does the voice because at the time he wasn't at the studio. He wasn't there. I really wanted to meet him because I already knew. I think he was at Florida at the time. Um, Plus, they were also doing was Tailspin, and there was also Bonkers. Well, Bonkers at the time that was on the air was the first season that was coming out, but the other seasons where they had was Bonkers' sidekick was Miranda Wrights, the blonde girl, sexy blonde girl. Well, in that series, that part of the series, that season, whatever, continuing on the series, Wendell did was drew me. Actually drawn me, and he specified that he's going to put me in bonkers, and I'll just be a background character. The character will move or whatever, but will not have a voice, which I thought was cool. So I'm basically an Easter egg in the Bonkers TV series. Just watch it, watch all of it because I'm in there. Especially like when they were doing Miranda Right, because I saw was the the whole entire design plan, the animation sequencing that they first started was the pencil tests. Yeah. So now going into college. All right. I don't know what year I took Japanese, but at first I took was a lot of art classes because I want to go into animation, make my own comic books and stuff like that. And I still want to live in Japan. So I took German first. I'm pretty good at it. And then when I took Japanese, and it was actually pretty interesting. My teacher decided to do was teach us for 3 months. That's how long our class was, from kindergarten level all the way to first year college level or university level of Japanese. And she was teaching us as if we're in Japan and we already know the language. It's like rapid. And this was the introductory course. It's like first day you're gonna learn is hiragana. Second day you're gonna learn katakana. And and then after that, you're gonna learn kanji, and no English is gonna be spoken in class. No romanji. None. Nada. And plus that was Monday through Friday. 5 days a week for 3 hours. 3 or 4 hours it was per day. It's like, fuck. It's a long day. I went to school. I had a lot of classes. Went through, I worked from 5 a.m. till 10 p.m. every day from Monday to Saturday. There was, just how it was. That's what I did every freaking day for several years. Of all my classes, I was overloaded with classes, and I've excelled in a lot of them. Japanese, I was more reluctant on it. I was learning faster with the language of writing it, because while everybody was still trying within the first day, actually within the first hour, they're still trying to get was a, I, u, e, o. I was already done with that, and I was using the characters to write out my name and shit like this. And she told me to just write out my name in katakana, not hiragana, because I didn't know katakana yet. So she got me into katakana really quickly. So, and she noticed that I just write my hiragana as if I was using an ink brush, and I was just using a pencil or a pen. She noticed that. And I go, yeah, because I see the characters, and what I'm wanting to do is make it to where it looks exactly like how it's supposed to, with a brush. And she said I had was beautiful writing, and I was still learning the language. So she decided to do was, well, also since I did write my name, my first name out, she in hiragana, that's the only way she actually understood and knew how to pronounce my name correctly. So she did was got some kanji. So the next day she gave me the kanji of my last name. It took her a little while, but she was into this, and she wanted to do. After that, she wanted to do was everybody else's or whatever kanji of their last name, because a lot of us are European. And what was funny is the Asian kids, mainly they were Chinese, and I already knew what they were doing. They were thinking in Chinese, then they had to do was translate in their head into English, and then translate it again into Japanese. And these kids, I told them, the character, you know, Ma, as horse. You know what the character is, and they have the same character in Japanese. Said, forget about trying to do this because I can see in their eyes. I know exactly what they're doing. They don't like me knowing that. I told them just learn how to say it a different way. You know how it's drawn, just say it that way. That's all. So you don't have to go through this long process. And it's like my teacher was like pretty upset with the Chinese kids. Like, look, it's you know kanji already. Why are you so slow? These white kids are going faster than you. Why? Because a lot of them didn't. We also had was this genius black kid. He thought he was like a super genius, but he just took you know Japanese in high school. From junior high to high school. He was like in the early years of high school, and he took it in college. Actually was able to go to the class and college course. He failed on the first day. He thought he was all this, but the problem is he didn't understand the syntax of the language. Plus, he did not know how to pronounce a lot of the words or even to go the whole entire syllabary correctly. The a I U E O kaki kuke ko sashi suse so ta chi tsu tse to nani no ne no mami hayo. Yeah, he just couldn't do that. And it's not ra ru re ro. It's ra lu re ro. It's an LR sound. Ra u a ra ra ru re ro ka ki ku. Go on and on. Just it was kind of funny. I was able to do this really quickly. So, đáng đại然後點咬網底. I know what I say. Anyways, people that do know, like, yeah, all right. So that's the basis of how I was, and my sensei was her first name is Junko, her last name is Fuji. So correct way of doing it is saying the last name then the first name. So I usually call her Sensei Fuji-san, Sensei Fuji. Yeah, or you can say because she was teased as a kid. They would write her name and then because two ways of saying